Green Bay day to day. Alrighty, here we are. It's Championship Sunday recap with your boy Beef Shits. How you doing? Thanks for listening. Glad to have you. Check me out on Twitter, GB_D2D, and at Outlook, at GB-D2D at Outlook.com. You can send me an email. But like I say on every podcast, I like to make it more of a discussion rather than like an announcement. So I will preface this one by saying the Super Bowl look ahead will actually come next week, because today, just before I started recording, guess who fucking retired? Fucking goddamn Tom Brady. Earlier in the week, somebody like on Saturday or something, somebody reported like, yep, he's done. And of course everybody came out and was like, no, that's not fucking real, But now I guess, sincerely, if you look on his Instagram, there's this 6-page dedication to Tampa exclusively. Like, he didn't say shit about New England. He eventually would, but it kind of was like he never said anything about Kraft or the Patriots fans or Belichick or anything like that. So, well, let's go back into the championship. I mean, this postseason, except for the first round, wild card weekend, mostly was just garbage. Save for the Bengals, who, congratulations, are in the Super Bowl along with the Rams. Just great games both ways. I mean, you never really felt like the Rams were out of the game, but when it came to the Chiefs and the Bengals, I was like, right at the end of the first half, I was like, if we don't figure something out here, Bengals, because at that point it was 21-10, and they were like at the 1 or something like that, maybe the 2 or something, but, and then Patrick Mahomes with 5 seconds, obviously as they're lining up, I'm like, would there be no point trying to draw them off sides? They're trying to take a shot right at the end zone, but then he dumps it off to Tyreek Hill. I don't know. If you listen to Nick Wright, that's like, oh, that's where it happened, right? And I mean, in his defense, the 3 drives beforehand all ended in touchdowns. So maybe he has something there, but I mean, I don't know. The more I watch Mahomes play, the more that it's like, maybe for much of his career, much of his early career, I should say, like, people were just, because it's like, apparently, like, if you just play cover 2 shell, just to say that you have like 2 safeties over the top, like, preventing the very deep play, it's like pedestrian obviously is not the word that I want to use. He's still very, very good, but I don't know. They also scored 3 whole points in the second half. So, freaking Joe Burrow, who to his part didn't play exactly stellar either. I mean, he threw a pick where, I mean, it could have been like, okay, never mind, we got this. And then fucking Kansas City won the coin toss. So I was like, I guess this is it, Sorry, but fucking, they get the ball first and that's it. And then I've been seeing over Twitter, like, I mean, thank God the Bengals won, so we don't have to talk about the overtime. No, we should still talk about the overtime fucking rules, because whatever happens, both teams should be allowed to possess. I think somebody, again on Twitter was saying something like, go for 2 if you receive the ball second. Then you have to go for 1 if you receive the ball first. So that means that, both teams, presuming that they do score, have to, after the second possession, there is a decision, that wouldn't be perfect. I think if you just play out just play the quarter, seriously, like, everything just feels so fucking lucky when it comes to overtime that it's like, I mean, they should have went home. I'll say it right now, the Chiefs should have fucking went home after, even though, Patrick Mahomes played out of his fucking mind with 13 whole seconds left to get, Kansas City in field goal range. It's still like, but they won the overtime toss, the coin toss, and that was it. Nobody, I didn't feel like one team. Well, obviously, it's overtime. It's tied up. No team. But the offense, I just feel like the offense has such a fucking. How do I whatever? It's such an advantage even for the people that are like, isn't it like 53% of the time that they win or something like that? Like it's okay, I suppose, but it still shouldn't just be decided at the drop of it's nothing. I don't. How many other sports are even sudden death like that? Everywhere else, if you put more time on the clock, you play out the clock. Everywhere else. Because wouldn't that be fucking stupid if you just say, oh, well, next 3-point in fucking basketball wins it? I don't know. So anyway, to Patrick Mahomes' discredit, because, it was just, I should say, really, it's because it actually kind of hit Tyreek Hill in the hands. Sort of. But the Bengals defender was just right there to hit it, to his other guy, and if it doesn't happen, then there's, they punt it, so it's not like, I should say if the other guy isn't there to pick it off, then they have to punt it anyway, so it's, because it's like 4th and at least 10. I think they went 3 straight passes on that, so. Oh, boy. So, but then, Joe Burrow does some crazy Joe Burrow things, and it's crazy to suggest that there are Joe Burrow things out there, but, I didn't really feel like the game was in doubt. Once they receive the ball from Patrick Mahomes' interception. So then, of course, kind of like clockwork. Would it take him 5 or 6 plays just to get into pretty much? McPherson is, I don't know. I don't know if he's that guy or if he's just very good, But he's at least fucking pretty damn good. So good for him. And good for the Bengals. Because I really didn't see them as, just a couple more, a couple more ways in which the ball just bounces away from you, sort of, if that makes sense. When I say that, I mean that sometimes you don't, that football is shaped weird, Sometimes a punt just, hits back into your, technically your return guy, and that makes it a live ball, So Cincinnati could not have not even been in the playoffs, had another couple of plays during the regular season not gone their way. But here they are. They went into Arrowhead. They beat the defending AFC representative for the Super Bowl. And I don't know. This is, I heard, I'm not trying to, upstage Nick Wright or bash him all, for his predictions all year. He's a fan of the Chiefs, and they're a very good team, and he should feel like they're good enough to win. But he started off 20-0, and then he was he went from clearly this is the best team in the NFL to kind of overhyping them game to game. I just remember them. They beat the Broncos. What was the ending score? 23-10, which is fine. Good for them. Or 23-10 or something like that. And so, of course, on First Things First, there's Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, and Kevin Wildes, and Broussard and Wildes are like, hey, man, let's, kind of pump the brakes, because the Broncos really aren't all that great of a team. Maybe they're a quarterback away, like I think a lot of teams are, but they still don't have that quarterback. So, I don't know how you're walking to the bank by beating a team that scored all of 10 points in the regular season. You know what I mean? And hey, listen, you remember when the Packers only scored 10 points, right? I was right fucking there with everybody saying that is ungodly, So I don't know. It's obviously an ungodly poor offensive performance. So, I don't. Holy shit. Somebody put up a counter. Goddamn. My point being that if you beat the Broncos and you beat you kick the shit out of the Raiders, I guess you can hang your hat on the fact that the Raiders were a playoff team, but I was never fucking concerned about them. So good for the Bengals it came on 3 game-ending interceptions. One against Derek Carr, of course. That was actually to keep the 7-point lead. Tannehill's Titans were driving, but he threw a terrible fucking like triple covered pick. Excuse me. And of course, McPherson sent them to the AFC Championship game, and then Mahomes. I don't really think it was a bad throw or anything like that, but I mean, he choked. 3 points and a half. It's not, if we're gonna hold, the big defeats of the world to the same standard. I mean, especially when it comes like, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning at a 4-pick game in an AFC Championship game. I mean, it's sincerely like it's just it's that bad of a performance, But it's a choke. I hate to say it like that. I do, because it's I think Patrick Mahomes has a lot of good things going for him, and I think he's going to win a couple more Super Bowls at the very least. Presuming, again, that he just doesn't have these freak terrible performances or these freak contested, like, I mean, again, like it's like with the divisional round, the Bills coming into town. I really thought the Bills should have won that game. I know I'm fucking on about it, but I don't know. Good for the Bengals. Talking about the NFC side, man, I mean, the Rams were down 10 in the fourth quarter. I really, like I said, I never felt like they were out of it, but by a certain point, it's like, hey, the good ones just run out of time, but then they score on 3 straight possessions, though it was just touchdown, field goal. I mean, that was enough to right the ship, because at the waning seconds there, Jimmy Garoppolo, holy cow, it actually looked like a not that bad pass for having to throw backwards effectively, right? As you're tumbling down. I mean, it still hit his receiver in the hands, so again, everybody's kind of killing Garoppolo for the throw and not being that guy, quote unquote. And I mean, I don't think necessarily that they're wrong, but what are we really talking about here? He never really was, We all agree that if you put Jimmy Garoppolo in that 50, what really it is now is a 50-second drive, not a 2-minute drill, right? A 50-second drill. He's going to lose you more than he's going to win you. You give him 2.5 or 3 minutes with the timeout, oh, you're golden. You're golden. But anything other than that is like, no, it's not. It's not happening. So congratulations to the Rams. It took them going against one of the more physical teams in the league. They were 0-6 against the Niners. So that, I mean, just obviously this win is critical for them, just to keep some kind of sustainability. Like, imagine if you lost to the 49ers, not only 7 straight times, because they lost last year to the 49ers twice. And there was no excuse for that, I don't think. I mean, I guess shit happens to a certain extent, but I mean, the Niners were fucking decimated by injuries last year. So I don't know. Speaking of the Rams, what did they have to do to get to the Super Bowl? They dicked the Cardinals. I mean, that wasn't a contest, I don't think. They held off the resurging Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they came back from very near elimination, down 10 in the fourth quarter to the 49ers, whom they hadn't won a game against since fucking 2018. Exaggeration, hyperbole aside, I think this is a great Super Bowl. Again, on Twitter, somebody tweeted out like, the last, 19 Super Bowls have hosted either the 49ers, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning. And of course, Tom Brady went to fucking Penn. So, it's a poor segue, but let's talk fucking Brady. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. I know I kind of hinted at taking the reins over for one Barry McCockiner. on hating Tom Brady, but I don't think that that's fair anymore. Now that everything is set in stone because of his retirement, I think Shannon Sharp said it best. He retired because he was fucking bored. Nobody made him. Time didn't catch up with him. He won fucking 7 Super Bowls, and he went out very near the top of his career performance for a season, if not one of the best. If not the best, I should say, for a year that he has had, anyway. So this is sort of going to come off a little off topic. But I think, yes, he's the greatest quarterback. He can have that. But obviously I've only been doing this podcast for like 5-ish weeks. Not even that, I'm pretty sure this is number 4. But I don't think that he's the greatest football player. I think that distinction goes to Jerry Rice. Just the shit that he was able to do, the shit that he was able to do. Like, it wasn't a passing league when Jerry Rice was the receiver, But all that shit that he held, I think Cooper Kupp's a very good receiver, but I think, like, that stuff is the kind of stuff that Jerry Rice was doing just year in and year out. So I don't know. It's much more friendly era for quarterbacks, and you got to be honest. If I'm gonna say it, okay, Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. If I'm gonna say that, okay, then I think that it's fair that you say that he's also the luckiest of all time. Because, hey, listen, man, I've seen 2 instances of the tuck rule. And I watched me some football. In that championship game where I don't think it should have been called, there was a divisional game against the Raiders, whichever. And then one time Eli Manning got it, I think, in the regular season. Like the year after they won the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl against Brady. Other than that, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I have seen a lot of argument for, the greatest sports, I guess sportsman, whatever. The greatest, athlete. Fucking sportsman, what the fuck? The greatest athlete in the world, or of all time, whichever. Yeah, I don't know. You can say that if you like, but I've always been a big fan of Wayne Gretzky, and I'm not a hockey guy at all. And Serena Williams, who is just, I think that it actually kind of works to her favor that she's a female, that, because I think it's just like a universal thing that we just the NBA is great, the WNBA, blah, blah, not nearly held as high as the NBA. So I don't know necessarily if that's the case for female tennis players, as it is for male tennis players. But if I had to pick between the 3, because I think that they're all kind of in that same league, alongside, I am sorry, I know this is going to hurt some feelings, LeBron James. Okay. So those 4 are all kind of I guess even if we push Tom Brady out and we put Jerry Rice in, I still think Wayne Gretzky and LeBron James just are, I don't know, without, sadly they could have had a lot more championships. Because I think Wayne Gretzky only had 4 or 5, right? If I'm not mistaken about that. He holds fucking 58 records or something like that. Or I don't know about the distinction between is tied with or holds or whatever, but something like 58 records or something like that. He had 8 straight fucking MVPs. That's insane to me. Almost an entire decade worth. He has 9 total. Almost an entire decade's worth of just this guy was the best at this sport. All said, And then LeBron James obviously is still, his cement is still wet, but I mean, the things that he's doing is just, it's arguable to say he'll have everything by the time he's done. You know, number one in just about everything. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see, though. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about Brady. Brady finally calling it quits, though. It's, I guess it's a thing that, you know, when Saturday the news popped that from, even though it was technically a false report from ESPN, it still felt like it wasn't coming from nowhere, you know. So I don't know. Now that it's done, now that he's gone, for every pick or for every throw that I was like, oh, I hope this is a fucking pick. Yeah, holy shit. 22 years, 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 rings. I mean, it's pretty fucking good. You know, like I said, I'm willing to concede the greatest quarterback of all time, because for a long time there I was arguing that it was Aaron Rodgers. And although they both have some pretty large blemishes on their resume, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Crazy to think we're not going to be talking about him, really. At least as a player for at least this year. I don't know. People are, you know, Kevin Wildes thinks like maybe he'll take a year off and come back. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. He's going to be 45 next year. You know, who knows? Maybe he'll keep that kind of competitive spirit. But I don't know if it's my money. I'm guessing he's probably done. Just like this fucking podcast needs to be done. All right, I've wasted enough of your time. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at GB_D2D and send me some emails. You know, let's fucking talk about something. You know, I'm sitting here trying to fill time and I'm barely saying a fucking thing. So send me an email or two at GB-D2D@outlook.com. Take care of yourselves.